Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So for today's video, I'm going to be showing you how I achieve my everyday soft glam makeup look. This is my go-to makeup look whenever I'm going out for lunch or just going out in general and I just want a full face on. This is the full face that I'm going to be rocking, and hopefully you guys can pick up a couple of tips and tricks or find some new products that you want to try out. So if you guys are curious about this makeup look and how I achieved it, then just continue watching. Good morning you guys. I feel like it's been forever since I filmed a sit down chit chat makeup tutorial, so I'm really pumped to film today's video and just show you my everyday daily makeup. So let's go ahead and get started. I already have my skincare on. I do have my lenses on as well, and these are the lenses that I've been wearing a lot recently. It's from Kristin. It's their style Mic Drop in the shade green. I've said this many times before, but I love the look of green eyes and dark hair. I don't know what about it. I feel like it's so earthy and I just love that look. So I've been wearing Mic Drop green so much recently. I do have an affiliate code with them. It is JUDY10, JUDY with 2 U's, and you can save 10% off, and that is an affiliate code, so I do earn commission if you use my code, but that's always up to you guys if you want to use, no pressure. But let's go ahead and start off with makeup. I'm gonna start off with my SPF because that's super important. I'm using the Supergroup Unseen Sunscreen Broad Spectrum SPF 40. I've been watching a lot more skincare YouTubers recently, and one thing that I'm taking away from them is use SPF. I knew SPF is like really important, but I didn't use it like every single day. But I'm realizing whether you're indoors or outdoors, just wear it. And you know, my mom always told me to use SPF, and I always thought like I didn't need SPF because I thought just like sunscreen SPF, it was just to protect you from getting sunburn, and I don't get sunburn. I could be in the sun the whole day and I don't get sunburn. I might get a little bit red on my nose, but other than that, like I've never had a bad sunburn, so I never thought I needed SPF. But that's not true, and my mom always told me from a young age like wear SPF, and my mom always slaps on sunscreen, and her skin is so good for her age. But this SPF feels like a primer as well, so it's sort of like a 2-in-1. You're getting your SPF and you also are applying your makeup primer. I'm then gonna use the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Tinted Moisturiser. I'm using the shade Medium 9W. I have been using this guy so much. You can see I'm like sort of halfway through the bottle. I've been loving this. In the past 2 months, I've worn foundation maybe twice, like once in June and once in July. Other than that, I've been wearing a tinted moisturizer and a full coverage concealer, and I bet you guys probably couldn't even tell, right? I don't know, these days I feel like putting on a full coverage foundation and a full coverage concealer is a little bit too much and just a little bit unnecessary, because I feel like you can't really tell because you are going in with a full coverage concealer anyway. So I've been feeling like using a tinted moisturizer as my base and then a full coverage concealer, my skin sort of looks the same coverage wise, but it looks less cakey. And I also realized that my skin is so much more smoother. I've been getting less breakouts. A lot of the like uneven skin that you're seeing is a lot of scarring. I mean, I have this one guy that appeared today, but honestly, compared to when I was wearing foundation, I was getting a lot more breakouts. So I don't know if it's like the new skincare that I'm using or if it's me not using foundation as much, but it feels good. It feels much more lightweight for every day. I'm really excited to try out their new Pretty Fresh foundation, because anything I would want to change about this is just for it to have a little bit more coverage, just like a teeny tiny. But I want it to keep it at its like consistency where it's very thin, very lightweight on the skin. So hopefully that new foundation is going to give me that. I heard a lot of good things about it as well. Now I'm going in with 2 concealers. I'm first gonna take my Too Faced Born This Way multi-use sculpting concealer in the shade Almond, and I'm gonna use this underneath my eyes. I'm going to place it right here because that's where the most darkness is. So I'm just gonna let that concealer sort of sit there and marinate a little bit, and then I'll go in with the ColourPop Pretty Fresh Hyaluronic Acid Creamy Concealer, and I'm using the shade Light 50W, and I'm gonna place this on my skin where I have any scars, mainly just around the T-zone area, like the center of my face, because that is where I do have the most scarring, and that's where you guys will see the most. So you can see around here, around this area, I'm not really applying too much. And then I'm gonna take my ColourPop Detailed Sponge, I believe this one is called. It's the one that has a pointy edge and the teardrop shape. I've been really liking this recently. It's been my go-to sponge. I know I'm always changing sponges, but there's just so many sponges on the market these days that are like pretty good and very affordable. So I'm just going to blend the concealer that's on my face first, because I want the concealer under my eyes to sit there and give its full coverage. I'm gonna try my best to pounce and not swipe, because if you're swiping, you're gonna rub off the coverage. And then I'm taking my Fenty Beauty Pro Filter Instant Retouch Setting Powder in the shade Butter. I'm just going to blend out the creases under my eyes first, because we don't want to set down our creases, so we're going to blend that out. I'm going to dip just a little bit on my sponge, tap some on the back of my hand, and then I will go in and set my under eyes by just pouncing it in. I'm looking like really high up, so that way my creases don't crease. Again, dip, tap, and then apply. The reason why I'm tapping the excess on the back of my hand is just to get rid of the powder, because my under eyes are pretty dry. I have fine lines, so too much powder underneath my eyes can make it look very old and wrinkly, but I honestly just have to set my under eyes or it's just going to crease and the concealer is just going to move around. Now I'm going in with my press powder. This one is from AOA Studios. It's their Perfect Finishing Press Powder. This is $1, you guys, and honestly I don't know how I feel putting this on my face, because the ingredients in here definitely cannot be good, right? Because it's $1. I mean, I have it and I don't want to waste the product, and it hasn't been breaking me out and I can almost see the pan, so I'm just like trying to use this up, but I can't help but think what ingredients are in this product. But I'm just going to apply that all over my face to set the rest down. So now that I have my base on, I'm gonna go in with the Morphe Continuous Setting Mist, and I'm just going to use this to spray over my face to set in the powder, so that way it doesn't look too cakey. But because we use the tinted moisturiser, I feel like my face doesn't look too heavy, like the layer is not thick of foundation, powder, concealer. It's pretty thin, but I want that to look even more like skin, so I'm gonna go in with this. And this mist is perfect. I don't think I'll ever use another setting spray if the nozzle is not like this, because this is so fine. It doesn't scare you, it doesn't jump you, so this is just the best. I'm running low, I need to get a new one soon. And I'll actually just take my sponge and just press that in ever so slightly. Alright, so now we're going to move on to the brows. I have changed my brow game ever so slightly. They look the same, but I've been using one extra product and it's probably very unnecessary, but I just like to do this. So the first product I'm going to take is this brow pencil from AOA Studios. It's also $1 as well. I'm almost running out of it and I think I will purchase another one of this because it's $1. You know, it's not like powder that's on your skin that I'm freaked out about the ingredients. When it's like a brow product that's like on my brows, I'm not really too fussed about it. If it works, it works. It's $1. It's so affordable. I think this is called their Sculpting Brow Pencil. All the writing has completely came off, but it's one of those triangle brow pencils. And what I like to do with this, I'm just going to run this through my brows, sort of to just get the size and shape down. I've been trying to do more of a straighter brow, but this eyebrow, the hairs over here naturally go down. So when I do a straight brow, the hairs like stick out. I like to just fill them in just like very lightly. And I like to do this because it gives me the like thickness. If I just go in with a pencil and powder, sometimes I feel like I can go a bit too thick with my brows, but doing this, I'm gonna keep this sort of shape. Then I'm gonna go in with my NYX micro brow pencil in the shade Black, and this is my favorite brow pencil. Definitely a dupe for the Anastasia Brow Wiz, but it's much more affordable. So I'm just gonna go underneath my brows and I'm gonna use this like thin pencil to define the shape even more. And then for the third product, I'm gonna take the Anastasia Brow Powder Duo in the shade Dark Brown. I've had this guy since high school. And I've left high school maybe, how long is it? 6 years now? I'm gonna take the dark brown side here, and then I'm just going to fill my brows in. It's going to make the brows a little bit darker, and I feel like this brush, it sort of like combs my brow hairs a little bit. Alright, that is the brows done. Not the best. I like this brow though. Now we can move on to the eyes. I'm gonna go in with eye primer. I've been using the Kaleidos Makeup Tone Activator eye primer. So when you squeeze it out of the tube, it's like a peachy salmon sort of tone, but once you apply it to your eyes, it adjusts to your skin tone. Definitely, it's pretty cool technology. You guys know me, I don't really use eye primer. I usually just use my concealer, but because I got sent this and I like how it works, I think it's like a very thin sort of texture. It doesn't feel very thick, so I feel like sometimes using a concealer as your primer, it can sort of feel very thick because it's a full coverage, but this is very thin and it just evens out my eyelid color because my eyelids can be sort of dark, as you guys can see. So this one, I applied the eye primer on, it just cancels out any of that darkness, and this side still has that darkness. So it feels very thin. I don't necessarily think it really enhances the eyeshadow so much, like so different from a concealer. Because I have the product, I just want to use it up. But making sure I'm gonna blend that up towards my brow bone. So before we get started with the eyeshadow, can you guys guess which palette I'm gonna use? If you guys have watched a couple of my eyeshadow videos, then you probably can already guess, but I'm gonna go in with the ColourPop times Disney. It's a Princess Thing palette. This just has my all-time favorite mattes in here. It's a big palette, but I'm only gonna be using 3 shades in here, and those 3 shades alone will make this palette my favorite palette ever. You know, I mean, the other shades are pretty, but just not shades that I would use. I'm gonna go in with this shade here. It's called Triton, and I'm just going to apply that on my lid space first, and then I'll slowly start blending that up into my crease. I don't want to bring it up too high. I mainly just want this shadow on my lid, but it's just the perfect tone of an eyeshadow. I will, sorry, zoom you guys in. But yeah, it's just like the perfect tone on my skin. I feel like it's not too light, it's not too dark, and it's not too warm either, but it's also not neutral. I just love the shadow so much. It's so perfect. You know, there are some other shadows from ColourPop, or from other brands in fact, that sort of look like this, but nothing makes me feel so good like this shadow does. For a while, I was trying other palettes, you know, to be my new daily palette, but this one is just the one for me, okay? Then I'm gonna take this shade here in the corner. It's called Abu, and this is the perfect medium tone chocolate brown, and I'm gonna smudge this against my lash line. Just swiping left and right just to smudge and blend that out. This eye look is mainly focused on, I guess, the liner and making the lash line sort of smoky, so this is the first step to achieving that. And I'll also take this onto my lower lash line as well. I like to take a medium tone color on my lower lash line. I don't want it to be too light. I think Triton would have been too light where it doesn't really define the lash line, and if you're taking photos, for me personally, I do like my lower lash line to have some sort of color, especially when you have creases. When you apply eyeshadow underneath your eyes, you kind of like hide the creases a little bit. So I like to use a medium tone. I don't want it to be too dark because I feel like if I was to use like a dark brown eyeshadow, it would just sort of like close off your eye a little bit. Then I'm gonna go in with the UZU by Flo Fushi Mont liner in black. I believe this liner is discontinued. The new one is in a pink packaging, but this is the best liquid liner ever. And I do have a video on how I do my wing liner. It's sort of the same, but I feel like that video, my liner is a little bit more dramatic. This one is gonna be, it's still gonna be pretty dramatic, but a little bit softer. I'm gonna go in with a black eyeshadow. This one is just from NYX. I'm sure you have a matte black eyeshadow. I just keep this in my top drawer. Gonna take that on a thin angled brush and I'm gonna start smoking and smudging out this eyeliner. Okay, so I kind of lied. This eyeliner is pretty dramatic, similar to my winged eyeliner video. It's not actually any softer. But I'm gonna go back into the shade Abu, the medium brown. I'm gonna go ahead and further smudge out that black eyeshadow. Alright, I'm gonna repeat that to this eye. But I need to get really close to my mirror. Alright, so that is pretty much the eyeshadows done. I'm going to curl my lashes now. I'm going to give them a good curl because we are going to be applying falsies and we don't want our lashes to be shooting straight down from the fake lashes. And then I'm going to apply mascara. I'm using the Fenty Beauty Full Frontal Mascara. I've been liking this one a lot recently. I think I might repurchase another one. I just like how it holds up my lash and I really like the wand as well. So for today's lashes, I'm gonna go in with my absolute favorite. These ones are from Petite Cosmetics in the style Honey. I now have an affiliate code with Petite Cosmetics, which is so exciting. It is just JUDY and you can save 10% off your order. And again, it's an affiliate code, so I do get commission if you use my code. But these lashes, you guys, are like their best lashes in my opinion. I think they are just so fluffy. They have a shorter inner corner and then a longer outer corner, so it's going to give you that cat eye. The band is very thin as well. It's like an invisible band. And while the lash glue is drying, we can move back on to the face. So we're gonna go in with bronzer, and the bronzer that I'm gonna use is my favorite bronzer ever, but I don't really know if it's cruelty free anymore. So it is the Physicians Formula times Whaley Butter Collection palette, and I love this palette so much. But you guys know the news that came out with Physicians Formula. It's pretty much the same news that came out with Wet n Wild. Someone saw that they were selling in mainland China, which means they aren't cruelty free, but apparently there are ways to be cruelty free and to sell in mainland China. I don't really know. Whaley hasn't really addressed the issue either, and she's still using the palette herself, so I don't know. I just try not to talk about it on camera. I do use it, and if I'm using it, I do write it in my description box, but and then I'm gonna go into my NYX contour and highlight palette and take this shade here. It's called Sculpt, and I'm gonna use this to contour my nose. All I like to do with my nose contour is just go down the sides of it. I don't really do too much, but I feel like it makes a slight difference. And I'll do a little bit underneath. And for my blush, I have been using this one here. It's from Kaleidos Makeup. It's their Lo-Fi Duo Blusher in the shade Lo-Fi Peach. I've been using this one seriously every single day. It comes with a highlighter as well, but I don't use the highlighter. I'm mainly going for the blusher in here. And the blush is so perfect, just oof. Isn't this just tones? So I'll take a bit of that and apply that to the apples of my cheeks. I'll take a little bit onto my nose as well, just to give like a very flushed look. Alright, now it's time for highlighter. I'm gonna go in with the ColourPop Super Shock Cheek in the shade Lunch Money. I'm gonna take my sponge that is still quite damp. I'm gonna take the pointy part, just take a little bit, and I'm gonna tilt my head to my window so that way I can see the high points. I'm just gonna put it right at the high point of my cheeks, which is around here. I've been loving a cream highlighter because it's not too intense, but it gives you a nice subtle highlight, and when you take photos and when you're in the sun, this will show up, okay? So I'll apply this to my cheekbones, but I'm also gonna apply that to my nose at the center, and it's really nice because the sponge is pretty pointy, and what I like to do is take the tip of it and highlight my inner corners with the tip of the sponge. The lash glue is still drying, so I'm just gonna go ahead and finish off my lip. I have so many favorite daily lip colors that I use all the time. It really just depends on what I'm wearing and sort of what I'm feeling, because the eye look stays the same and the base and everything stays the same. I guess the only thing that changes and gets a little bit wild is my lip color. So I'm just gonna share with you some of my favorite lip colors that I just wear so often. And the first one that I see is the Dear Dahlia Paradise Blooming Balm in Fantasy. I don't have a lot of this left. That's literally all I have left. I love this guy so much. Need to get a backup. I love the ColourPop Luxe Velvet Liquid Lipstick in the shade Air Kiss. You can see the writing on this is like almost coming off, but this one is a favorite as well. You guys know I love Rise and Shine, the ColourPop Just a Tint Lip Crayon. No name as well, because I just use it that often. I've been liking the e.l.f. Lip Lacquer Gloss in the shade Moody, as well as the e.l.f. Seriously Satin lipstick in Nectar. I think I will just go for the Dear Dahlia one today because I'm not going out or anything, and this one is just a lip balm. Alright you guys, so this is my everyday soft glam and makeup look completed. I hope you guys enjoyed it. If you did, be sure to give the video a thumbs up for me. I really appreciate it so much if you did. It also helps me out and gets my video out to more people. So give it a thumbs up if you did enjoy. Also, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments down below. What do you guys think of the makeup look? Do you guys like any of these products? Any of these products your holy grail? I would love to hear your thoughts down below in the comments. I love chatting with you guys, so leave them down below. But that will pretty much complete today's video, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. I love you guys, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!